All right, let's jump right into this explainer and decode how the rapidly shifting landscape of modern mapmaking is actually training its next generation of experts. We live in a world that is fundamentally governed by spatial data. From the complex logistics routing your online shopping packages to the massive climate models predicting our future, it's everywhere. But the way we actually educate the architects of these systems, the people fundamentally responsible for visualizing our world, is completely transforming right before our eyes.
We're currently living through this really fascinating paradox. Think about it. Humanity is producing and consuming more maps than ever before in our history. Literally, every time you open your phone, hail a ride, check a hyperlocal weather forecast, or just browse real estate online, you're interacting with complex, dynamic cartography. Yet the people whose specific primary job title is cartographer are kind of vanishing from the workforce. So how on earth does a booming, multi-billion-dollar industry survive when its namesake professionals seem to be disappearing entirely?
Well, here is our roadmap for today to see how the industry is solving this. We're going to cover the cartographer paradox, our first path, which is dual education, the second path of academic degrees, a look at the international master's program, and finally, our third path, lifelong learning.
Starting things off with part 1, the cartographer paradox, or the mystery of the disappearing mapmaker.
I absolutely love this quote because it just perfectly captures the strange contradiction at the heart of the whole industry right now. The truth is, the mapmakers didn't actually disappear. They just evolved and assimilated. Instead of working hunched over drafting tables at classic surveying offices or traditional map publishers, today's spatial experts are disguised under entirely different titles. They're programmers, they're UI and UX web designers, database architects, and consultants for smart city engineering. The profession has fundamentally decentralized. It's embedded itself so deeply across the entire tech landscape that cartography is now a crucial, highly technical skill set rather than just a solitary job title.
Let's look at the first solution in part 2. Path 1, dual education, which is a really clever vocational hybrid.
To replace the classic cartographer, European countries went all in on a highly efficient dual education model. This vocational hybrid basically splits a student's time between hands-on practical work at a tech company and theoretical study at a vocational school. And the traditional job title has completely evolved to match this new reality. For instance, in Germany, the cartographer profession was officially absorbed into the broader geomatician title way back in 2010. They joined ranks with surveying technicians in this rigorous 3 to 3.5 year program. Over in Switzerland, they require 4 full years for a geomatician with a specific focus on cartography. Meanwhile, Austria offers a really streamlined 3-year path in geoinformation technology. It's a brilliantly practical, market-driven adaptation that pretty much ensures graduates are instantly employable.
Moving right along to part 3, path 2, academic degrees, and how they are merging disciplines.
Because, let's be real, standalone cartography degrees experienced incredibly low demand in the digital age. Universities had to orchestrate a clever pivot. What did they do? They absorbed mapmaking into broader, heavily tech-focused spatial sciences. So now, we're seeing cartography become a core, integrated subject within geodesy, which, if you don't know, is the applied mathematics of accurately measuring the Earth, as well as geoinformatics. And this isn't just a local thing. It's a massive global trend. In the US, academic powerhouses like Penn State and UW-Madison heavily weave it right into their spatial science and geography programs. Over in China, Wuhan University houses mapmaking within massive, highly technical geodesy programs. By merging these disciplines, academia makes sure students don't just know how to design a map that looks pretty, but they actually understand the complex data science powering the whole thing.
Next up is part 4, the International Masters, which is essentially a cross-border elite tour.
Bucking the whole trend of merging degrees into broader sciences, there is one absolute crown jewel of dedicated academic cartography that we need to talk about. Since 2011, this elite English language master's program has been operating with the robust support of the EU's Erasmus Mundus program. Instead of watering the subject down, this collaborative effort completely doubles down. It pulls the top-tier resources, the faculty, and the tech of 4 distinct European universities: TU Munich, TU Vienna, TU Dresden, and the University of Twente. The result? An unparalleled, highly concentrated educational experience designed purely for spatial data experts.
And the structure of this is so cool. The program literally requires students to physically move across borders each semester, gathering specialized tech skills from each specific institution. They kick things off at TU Munich for foundational basics and complex geovisualization. By semester 2, they pack their bags for TU Vienna to master multimedia and interactive web mapping. For the third semester, they head over to TU Dresden to focus heavily on mobile and 3D cartography. And get this, it even includes participating in an incredible hands-on alpine cartography field school right in the mountains. Finally, they wrap up their journey at the University of Twente in the Netherlands, focusing on rigorous online modules and defending their final master's thesis. It is essentially the ultimate cartographic road trip.
To truly put into perspective just how exclusive and impactful this specific program is, exactly 209 students from 65 different nations participated in this program during its first decade. By admitting only about 30 highly vetted students annually, it acts as this incredible global incubator. I mean, these aren't just students, they're the future thought leaders of the spatial data industry. They are actively cross-pollinating mapping techniques, cultural perspectives, and technological ideas from over 60 countries.
And finally, Part 5, Path 3, Lifelong Learning, or the Continuous Update.
Look, in our hyper-paced tech environment, static degrees expire incredibly quickly. Professionals have to constantly patch and update their knowledge. This has actually created two distinct regional approaches to lifelong learning in the mapping world. Over in the United States, there's a heavy reliance on specialized postgraduate online certificate programs. A great example of this is Penn State University's gold standard certificates in GIS and spatial data science. Meanwhile, Europe leans heavily into comprehensive online learning modules, championed by really robust distance learning programs like Unigis at the University of Salzburg. When you combine this with software companies and professional societies offering their own bite-sized training, this continuous upskilling ecosystem is pretty much the only way to genuinely survive and thrive in the industry today.
So given that the software, the algorithms, and the fundamental tools of spatial data science are evolving almost by the month, you really have to ask yourself, is your cartography knowledge up to date? The role of the mapmaker definitely hasn't vanished. It's simply become the invisible, omnipresent backbone of our entire digital infrastructure. If our modern world is entirely dependent on spatial data just to function at a basic level, are you ready to engage in the lifelong learning required to actually understand the map you're standing on? Thanks so much for diving into this explainer with us, and as always, keep exploring.